Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great. I am finally on spring break, meaning I actually have time to make videos. Hooray! And I'm very excited to make this video today because, as you all probably remember, last May there was a bit of a situation with Helldivers 2 where Sony wanted PC gamers to log in to the game with a PSN account. It was optional for the first few months, but then they made it mandatory. And to be fair, they did say it was going to be mandatory, but that was in fine print, and they happily sold the game in countries which couldn't access PSN up to that point. So basically, if you were in one of the 170 something countries that didn't have access to PSN, you got screwed. Thankfully, due to partially pushback from PC gamers, but mostly due to the amount of refunds they had to issue through Steam, because otherwise they would get sued for, taking people's money and then just taking the game away. They eventually backed down. Really bad situation, but ultimately, because they reversed the requirement, I ended up getting into Helldivers, and I'm very glad I did. Absolutely amazing game. And now the tables have kind of turned, because if you remember, I covered it a lot back when the situation was going on, but there were plenty of PlayStation fanboys laughing at PC gamers, saying, oh, just make an account, it's free, it takes a couple minutes, it's not that hard, what's the big deal? Of course, just ignoring everything that was very clearly wrong with what was happening. And now, as Michael Scott would say, the turns have truly tabled.
Well. How the turntables...
Because as you all probably know by now, Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation 5 very soon, and the game is requiring you to sign into a Microsoft account. And who would have thought these same people who were making fun of PC gamers for not wanting to make a free PlayStation account to play a game, suddenly are very upset that they have to make a free Microsoft account to play a game. Or they're just ignoring it. Like, I looked at a bunch of Twitter accounts, JDub, Puerto Rock, The Red Dragon, just all the standard stuff. Dead silence, funny enough. However, there was one guy I knew I could rely on. You probably already know based off the thumbnail. I don't know, I haven't made it yet. It's unsurprisingly Japan Hates Xbox. And in case you guys don't know who he is, good. Don't learn. Some things are best left forgotten. But yeah, he's an infamous fanboy on Twitter, and you probably heard of him when, I think it was last year, someone on Icon Era made a post calling him a reputable insider. And in fact, I think that may have been what kicked off Icon Era's, legacy of just being, basically Reddit, but for fanboys. And he was making fun of PC gamers a lot for not wanting to make PlayStation accounts during the Helldivers situation. And now he's crashing out on Twitter because Xbox wants him to make a Microsoft account for Forza. Now, I feel like I need to state this now. I think it's BS that PlayStation players will have to make Microsoft accounts to play Forza. I don't agree with it. I think that it just shouldn't be a thing. So I do have sympathy for you out there who are frustrated by this. So just know, I'm just making fun of people who can't keep that same energy. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this. So this all started off with this very interesting tweet. So Insider Gaming says a Microsoft account is required to play Forza Horizon 5 on PS5, and then Japan Hates Xbox quote tweeted it and said, "This is an outrage. You must publicly apologize and remove this requirement at Xbox. We will not be inconvenienced by you. If you want our money, cater to our every need. We refuse to make Microsoft accounts to play the games that are rightfully ours." And as you can see, the ratio is very interesting, and the amount of delusion in this one tweet alone is honestly baffling to me. These games are only rightfully yours if you buy them. I don't know why you think this company that you absolutely hate owes these games to you. You are only owed what you pay for. And very funny that this is his reaction to needing to make a free account, since, as you'll see in a second, last year he was very quick to tell PC gamers that they don't matter and they should just deal with it when it came to Helldivers. And when you see the logic he uses to explain why these situations are different, you might die of cringe, so fair warning. So Partial Mean 8 replies with a screenshot of the tweet I was talking about from Japan Hates Xbox last year, and he says, "Didn't stop you from saying this when it was happening to PC players." And what he originally said was, "Sorry PC beggars, but this isn't your game at the end of the day. You're just dead weight who came along for the ride. Make a PSN and stop crying. You aren't entitled to jack squat from Sony. So apparently PC gamers aren't entitled to anything, but PlayStation gamers are, of course. Even though PC gamers paid for the game and then were demanded to make an account months later, which would have restricted the game from being accessed by a lot of people. And also, PC gamers were absolutely not dead weight when it came to Helldivers 2. Do I need to mention that the game sold more copies on PC? Not saying that PlayStation players were the dead weight for that game. There was no dead weight. The game sold a ton on each platform, but let's not pretend like PC did nothing for the game. Anyway, so Japan Hates Xbox replies, PC isn't entitled to anything from Sony, but Sony is entitled to everything from Xbox. Xbox is our bruh now. They conceded defeat. To the victor go the spoils. Brother, they conceded defeat in the fact that they haven't sold as many consoles, and they're slowly drip feeding you old games for full price. Imagine claiming Xbox is your bitch because you're giving them money for their games, which you claim to hate all this time. Interesting how that works. And then somebody else replied, basically copy pasting his original tweet, but he just replaced the words. So he said that Sony players were the dead weight and that you just need to make a Microsoft account because you're not entitled to anything. And then Japan Hates Xbox replies, we are entitled to everything from Microsoft, which no, you are not. Again, you're entitled to what you buy from them or to what they explicitly state you are owed. You are not entitled to things from Xbox just because they quote unquote said that they lost. And calling yourself the victor when, again, you're paying full price for a game several years old, kind of funny, especially when you supposedly hated these games, but hey, I guess he had a change of heart, right? Now, that explanation there for why this is a different situation was already bad enough. But when I was saying before that you're gonna die of cringe, this next one is what I was referring to. So this guy replies, now you see why PC gamers dislike the PSN requirement. And then Japan Hates Xbox replies, different situations entirely. PS5 gamers are first class and must be catered to. We won gaming. PC losers, on the other hand, should never be listened to, especially not by Sony. Where do I even begin? Okay, first of all, PC losers should never be listened to, especially by Sony.
Too bad.
Evidently, Sony has been listening more to PC gamers than to PlayStation gamers recently. They keep jacking up prices on you guys, especially with the new consoles and everything. And no matter how much outrage you give them, they don't listen. Meanwhile, not only did they go back on the Helldivers PSN requirement, but they also went back on the requirement for single-player games like Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok. So, I'm sorry you feel that way, but unfortunately for you, it doesn't matter. Sony is catering to PC gamers. And dude, calling yourself a first-class gamer because you're on PS5, Jesus Christ. You know what? In fact, Luke,
What?
do you consider yourself a first-class gamer because you're on PS5?
Not really.
Alright, cool, just making sure. Genuine question, what is so first class about it? Is it the fact that you have to pay extra for things and that somehow makes you better than other people? Because honestly, I would not be surprised if that was his logic. Guarantee his response to that would be like, oh, only PlayStation gamers can afford to play online games. We're able to afford these high prices. You guys have to get it for free because you're poor. Guarantee he would say something like that. Paying high prices doesn't mean you're first class. Usually it means you're getting scammed and you're too stupid to realize it. But whatever, I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, calling yourself first class because of the device you play on is idiotic. Especially when part of that quote-unquote first class package is just getting remasters of old games. But yeah, you guys should really be catered to. Even though people, especially such as yourself, will happily swallow whatever crap Sony gives you and then ask for more. Anyway, so after he made that post, he got royally clowned on, as I just showed, and obviously ratioed to hell and back literally 5 times. It was a 5-to-1 reply to like ratio. And so he decided to do some damage control, which I honestly did not expect. Normally this dude will stick to his clownery and not back down, but he's actually trying to damage control. So we're gonna take a look at that. So a few hours after that initial tweet, he put out this tweet. Forcing a Microsoft account on PS5 gamers on our copies of Forza Horizon, a franchise which now belongs to us, is egregious. At Xbox must publicly apologize for the inconveniences caused. Xbox is the whipping post and cuck of gaming. They must bend to our every whim. Boycott. I mean, before we even get to the replies, can I just point out how idiotic it is that he's saying that Forza Horizon belongs to PlayStation gamers? It doesn't belong to any one group of people. The franchise itself belongs to Xbox. That is it. A copy of the game can belong to you if you buy it, but you as a fan base do not own the franchise just because you got one of the 5 games 4 years after it came out. And that's ignoring the fact that this guy is probably gonna buy the game anyway. He probably won't be public about it, but I guarantee he will not stick to his word. Because as we've seen many times in the past, guys like him don't exactly have a backbone. If he did, then he wouldn't be a corpo simp. And now to end off this video, we're gonna take a look at the damage control and the replies. So Partial Mean 8 replies again and says, "You are literally using the same argument PC gamers used when Sony tried to force PSN accounts onto them." And then Japan Hates Xbox replied, "Yeah, it's called satire. Do you see why everyone hates PC gamers now?" And then Partial replies, "And your post before was satire? Just say maybe those guys were onto something when they told Sony off for doing it." Exactly. Bull crap, that was satire. There's no way. Your entire account for years has been dedicated to doing this fanboyish crap, and you're gonna claim now just out of the blue that this post you made is satire when you just made another one before? Nice try, bud, but it's not gonna work. You're not convincing anyone except for the 3 people who liked your tweet, one of whom I bet was you. And yeah, with all that being said, that's all I've got for now. It's just hilarious to see how much of a turnaround these people are having from last year. When it happens to other people, they should just make a free account, get over it, stop complaining. When it happens to them, their every whim should be catered to. You really love to see it. And again, I sympathize with those who don't like this, who were not engaged in this kind of behavior last year. And hopefully they go back on it, but unfortunately, given it went through for Sea of Thieves, I don't see that happening. So yeah, brace yourselves for a mandatory third-party sign-in. But yeah, with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I really do appreciate it. And just let me know, if you're on PlayStation, are you planning on picking up Forza or Indiana Jones or just any of these Xbox games that are coming over? If so, I hope you enjoy them. Just like I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Salt streams, and I will catch you all next time.